Hey, good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday. It is currently 57 degrees, going to be high of 67 and 99, not 100, not 98, but 99% chance of precipitation this morning. 5:01 is the sunrise and 8:34 is the sunset. All right, so we are doing a study on Esther through the book of Esther, and we're just got into Esther chapter 5. And um, and before we started, I said we would, when we got to where she calls for the fast, we'll do a little, not a complete deep dive into fasting, but we're going to talk about it a little bit today, maybe tomorrow. We'll see how far we get. So Esther, at the end of Esther chapter 4, um, Esther sends a reply back to Mordecai through her servants and says, "Go gather all the Jews to be found in Shusha and hold a fast on my behalf." Okay, so she, it's not an ask, right? She didn't ask them. She told them, "Hold a fast on my behalf," right? So she's trying to get them thinking about her, right? She's trying to get them thinking about her. Hold a fast on my behalf. Do not eat or drink for 3 days, night or day. And then she says, I and my young women will also fast as you do. So they're fasting together. Okay, they're fasting together. Then I will go to the king. Okay, then I will go to the king. Now, what is she trying to do with this fast? It would seem to me that through this fast, she's trying to get the right heart. Okay, she's trying to get the right heart. And now, look, it's not the heart to get right for the king, not at least not Azarus, right? Not King Xerxes, not her husband, the king. And then, though it's not said here, she's trying to get her heart right for the king, God, right? She's trying to get her heart right for God, and not that her heart's necessarily not in the right place. And we could speculate that because of what Mordecai said earlier. Do not think to yourself that in the king's palace, you will escape any more than all the other Jews. Okay, we might be able to get there because of that little verse and verse 14. If you keep silent, right? Um, so, but she's trying to get her focus on God and her focus off of the palace. Okay, her focus off of the palace. So, all right, that said, let's go to Matthew. Let's flip over to Matthew. First book of the New Testament. Well, I might just flip right there. So let's look at Matthew 17. Now, when doing a study like this, right, you get you a Bible that has a concordance. You want a Bible with an exhaustive concordance. Um, I, I really, even my ESV, the ESV concordance is good. It's not super exhaustive, but it's good. So you go back. It's in alphabetical order. You find fasting. There's fast and fasting in the ESV. Okay, and it'll give you verses. Right? It'll give you verses, and you take them. Usually they go right in order from Old Testament to New Testament. Right? So, like I said, ESV has fast and fasting. And, in Isaiah 58, all all my Bibles have at least one reference to Isaiah 58, and I know this. That's almost a whole chapter around the fast. Okay, a whole chapter around the fast. So you go. I encourage. I'm not going to read that whole chapter. I'm not going to go through the chapter with you, but I encourage you to do that if you want to know more about fasting, um, as a whole, and if you want to do an exhaustive study. um, for the purposes of this, though, we're not going to do an exhaustive study. And it'll even give you little snippets of the verses. So Isaiah 58:6, is not this the fast that I choose to lose? And then it has the dot 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 ellipses going carrying forward, right? And it goes boom 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 all the way down through. Um, and so it has fast and fasting. In fasting, it goes, and after fasting 40 days and 40 nights, talking about Jesus in Matthew chapter 4. Okay? So I encourage you. And here's another thing. If so you wake up one day and you're feeling anxious, look in the concordance, find verses on anxiety, hope or hopelessness, right? Look in the concordance, find verses on hope or hopelessness. It's all in there. I shouldn't say it's all in there. Depends on the Bible, depends on the concordance. Hold on, I gotta blow my nose, y'all. And then you go through and you look up those verses. All right. So you hit the concordance, find some verses, go through the verses. Now, another tip. So after Matthew, and we know Matthew's gospel. This is Matthew 17. This is towards the end of his earthly ministry, just after the transfiguration. We're going to hit that. Then we're going to go to Joel. We're going to take a look at a couple of verses in Joel. Right? And so when we do that, when you go to these other more obscure, it's in the scriptures, it's not that obscure, right? But not everybody's just going to be studying Joel to know everything about it. Okay? And me, I always, when I go through my Bible reading and a study, I always go back and I read the context of the book, to get the nature of the writer, the hearer, the context, the time frame. So I did that, right? I did that with Joel. All right. So then you hit the verses, right? Get the context, understand the verses. And here's another thing I do. And I got this from Pastor Brian. He's no longer with us, but he taught me the 2020 vision. When I'm preaching or studying, to get 2020 vision. That means 20 verses forward and 20 verses backwards of the text that I'm studying. 2020 vision. Don't ever forget that, y'all. 2020 vision. So, all right, boom. That's the format of how I come up with what you hear, essentially, every morning or on the devotionals, right? Hit your concordance, get the context, find your verses, right, and then read the verses around them, and then absorb that into the heart and let it stick. Okay. All right. So Matthew 17. So Jesus just came down off of from the transfiguration with his disciples, and he comes to the crowd. Okay, he comes to the crowd. So that there goes your. Well, it's not 20 verses backwards, but 13, right? So that's what's happening in the context, and he's on his way, he's shortly to be captured and crucified, right? Shortly to be captured and crucified. So verse 14. And when they came to the crowd, a man came up to him and kneeling before him said, Lord, have mercy on my son, for he has seizures and he suffers terribly, for often he falls into the fire and often into water. And I brought him to your disciples, and they could not heal him. And I brought him to your disciples, and they could not heal him. So first of all, we see a problem, right? Just like in Esther, right? We see a problem. We see a problem. And it's in both cases, it's an intercession for yourself, yes, because it's his son, and for Esther, it's her people, but it's also intercession for others. Okay, it's also intercession for others. So it's the father brings for the son, for his son, right? An intervention for his son, or an intercession for his son. And Jesus answered, O faithless and twisted generation. Whoa, that's stiff. Now remember back in Esther, he said, what do you think? You're going to be safe in this palace? The palace ain't going to save you from the wrath of every other Jew. He said, don't hold back, right? Don't hold back. He didn't say don't hold back, all right? Like, I didn't read that word for word. But that was the point. Don't hold back. Don't hold back. Boom. And Jesus answered, O faithless and twisted generation, how long am I to be with you? How long am I to bear with you? How many chances should he be giving us? How much time should he be patient with us? And then in that, his patience and his love for us, we get it twisted and won't blame him for not acting when he's given us the opportunity to act for him. We get it twisted. Faithless and twisted generation we are. How long am I to bear with you? Bring him here to me. And Jesus rebuked the demon, and it came out of him, and the boy was healed instantly. And the boy was healed instantly. So, when Jesus acts, nothing can stop it. Okay, nothing can stop it. Right? So if you're to be called, nothing can stop it. He called. Right? He called. If you're to be healed, every breath you take, nothing can stop it because Jesus ordained it. Isn't that powerful? Isn't that powerful, y'all? Now, then the disciples said to Jesus privately and said, why could we not cast it out? Why couldn't we cast it out, the disciples? He says, and now he answers them, because of your little faith. For truly I say to you, if you have faith like the grain of mustard seed, you will say to this mountain, move here and here to there, and it will move, and nothing will be impossible for you. Now, in the ESV, it doesn't have verse 21. But it does at the bottom say, verse 21 will read, and some manuscripts insert this verse. The manuscripts that they translated from did not have this verse, but they put it at the bottom. Verse 21, then he says, but this kind never comes out except by prayer and fasting. So, what's the context of this prayer and fasting? Closeness to God. closeness to God, relying on God, a heart fixed on God, a heart fixed on the Lord, a faithful heart, one that is close to Him, right? Prayer, fasting, so no food is getting in the way. Fasting because, your body takes up energy to break down food, right? Well, this is extra energy that you have devoted to your relationship with the Lord, okay? So, and prayer is your communication, as you're talking to the Lord. So all your energy, all your heart, everything you got, focused on the Lord, dedicated to the Lord, in communion with the Lord. And then that's where, in that faith, right? In that faith, fasting and prayer. Fasting is a faith strengthener. It's a faith strengthener, okay? And no, it's reliance on the Lord, prayer and fasting, right? So how does that demon get rebuked? By reliance on the Lord. By reliance on the Lord. The Lord does it. You don't do it. I don't do it. The Lord does it. We pray to the Lord to do it. We fast to the Lord to do it. The Lord does it. All right, y'all. We'll look at the Joel verses tomorrow. We'll do a little bit more, but so you can see how the study works, right? You can see how the study works. I hope this is helpful for you guys in your personal study.